Missiles, retaliation, and a world scrambling for answers. West Asia is on fire again. And this time, the United States is right in the middle of it. This is how every country reacted to the coordinated US-Israel strike on Iran. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this was planned for months. A senior defense officials confirmed the date was set weeks ago. Netanyahu called it removing an existential threat and said the strikes would give the Iranian people a chance to take their fate into their own hands. Tehran didn't flinch. Iran's foreign ministry accused both the US and Israel of violating the United Nations Charter and promised a harsh response. And they delivered. Iran launched retaliatory strikes on Israel and hit US military assets across the Gulf. A senior Iranian official made it clear all American and Israeli assets in the Middle East are now a legitimate target. There are no red lines after the aggression. Qatar was hit directly. Iranian missiles struck the Al Udeid airbase, home to thousands of US troops on Qatari soil. Doha was furious, calling it a flagrant violation of its national sovereignty and direct assault on its security. Qatar made one thing clear: it reserves the right to respond. The UAE's air defenses intercepted several Iranian missiles, but the country was still struck. The Ministry of Defense condemned it in the strongest terms, calling it a dangerous escalation and a cowardly act. Abu Dhabi stressed it has a full right to respond. Bahrain took one of the most significant hits. An Iranian missile targeted the headquarters of the US Navy's 5th Fleet, stationed on Bahrainian soil. Manama called the attack treacherous and left no ambiguity about where it stands. India urged restraints from all sides, calling for dialogue and diplomacy, and stressing that the sovereignty of all states must be respected. The statement is notable. It came just days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Israel and praised their vital partnership. Across the Atlantic, Europe is alarmed. EU Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa called the situation greatly concerning, urging all parties to exercise maximum restraint, protect civilians, and respect international law. France's Emmanuel Macron went a step further, demanding an emergency UN Security Council meeting, warning the escalation is dangerous for everyone. It must stop. UN Chief Antonio Guterres condemned military strikes by the US and Israel in Iran as well. Moscow went further than most. Deputy Security Council Chairman Dmitry Medvedev accused the United States of using nuclear negotiations with Iran as a deliberate cover for military operations. Russia's foreign ministry urged the international community to objectively assess what it called reckless and destabilizing actions by Washington. Beijing demanded an immediate halt to all military actions. China's foreign ministry called for the resumption of dialogue and negotiations and stressed that Iran's national sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity must be respected. Pakistan stood firmly in Iran's corner. Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar strongly condemned what he called unwarranted attacks against Iran and called for an immediate halt to escalation through urgent and peaceful diplomacy. 20 countries, 20 reactions, one world on the edge. With missiles still flying, no ceasefire in sight, and global powers choosing sides, this is no longer just a Middle East crisis. With Srijita Sen Majumdar, Bureau Report, India Today Global.